to almost every person in this country. You know, the people in this country are horrified by it. It's the politicians that are complete idiotic politicians that are driving us down a road that, you know, the people don't want to be in war. The people in this country are good people. It's the politicians that have really led us astray over the last 4 years. And this is something that has to stop.
Andy Schectman doesn't hold back. This is a war we shouldn't be in. We're broke, borrowing money to fuel it, and it's only making things worse. The US is provoking tensions by considering missile placements on Russia's doorstep. Imagine if that were happening on our borders. Schectman warns it's time to stop being the world's policeman, bring our troops home, and fix our own problems. The consequences are already dire, and they could get worse. Trump's promise to end the war before taking office resonates with Americans, because it's not the people. It's the politicians steering us into danger. Stay with us till the end to uncover the full impact of Andy Schectman's urgent warning and what it means for the future of America and the world.
We need to be done with this war. This is a war we should not be involved in. We're broke. We're borrowing money to give it away. It's the most absurd thing I've ever seen. And we're antagonizing Putin to the point where it almost is like, I don't blame the guy. I mean, they're talking about putting Aegis missiles on the Ukrainian border. They share a 2,200-mile border with Russia, and you want to have NATO put Aegis missiles, which could deliver a nuclear warhead in 3 minutes to Moscow. Would we stand for that if it was done on the Canadian or the Mexican border? The hubris is absolutely ridiculous. And this is again, we need to be done. We're broke. The best thing that we could do as a country would be to close all of our military bases around the world, bring all of our troops home, stop meddling in the affairs of every other country on the planet. Let them take care of their own business. Yeah, you want to be in NATO, fine, but stop being the policeman of the world. The consequences are horrible. The unintended consequences may be even worse when you are, in essence, in the midst of two wars and the potential of both of them accelerating and the U.S. being dragged into a much greater degree. So, yeah, Trump saying he'll end the war before he even takes office is a welcome sign to almost every person in this country. You know, the people in this country are horrified by it. It's the politicians that are complete idiotic politicians that are driving us down a road that, you know, the people don't want to be in war. The people in this country are good people. It's the politicians that have really led us astray over the last 4 years. And this is something that has to stop. It just does. I don't think either administration has policies in place to fix the bigger problem. So no, it's not. I mean, and you look at the way China does things, and I'm not saying that they're perfect, but they look at their Belt Road Initiative. They go around the world in a cooperative manner and under-industrialized countries that are resource rich, and they build the roads, bridges, maritime channels, the oil refineries, oil rigs, gold and silver mines. They're helping these countries industrialize. Look at their SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Cooperation is in the name of the word. It's the largest regional financial and military organization on the planet. They do things in a cooperative manner. We cannot go around the world continuing to coerce, continuing to slap tariffs, continuing to do these things in the form of, of a bully. And I don't think that's the right path. So no, whether it be Trump or whether it be Harris, the dollar is in trouble. And I think if you're not a contrarian, you'll end up being a victim. While I prefer Trump's path to Harris's, a weak dollar, low interest rates, high tariffs, these are things that really will not fix the problem. They'll just exacerbate the problem we already have and accentuate the de-dollarization. And this is why you're seeing so many countries take such great effort to join together in a union that is away from the dollar. The BRICS Union, the Belt and Road Union, the Shanghai Cooperation, the Eurasian Economic Union, all of these countries are finding, and these groups are joining together, pushing back against just this. So no, I think Trump's policies are not what is really needed to fix the broader problem, but the lesser of two evils in my mind. Really bad. And, the dollar and the treasury market are backed by nothing but the faith and confidence and credit of the United States. Well, credit, we've already said, they're 190, 200 billion, 190 trillion in the hole. They're upside down, 200 trillion in the hole, upside down. We're broke. We're at 123% debt to GDP. I don't think there's ever been a country that has crossed 130 and come back from that. So we're broke. We're insolvent in terms of the credit side is done. In terms of the faith, we've talked about weaponization, the questioning of the integrity of the electoral system and the judicial system. So the faith, the credit, nonsense. And when you talk about, buying treasuries in a government that is creating a trillion every 90 days of debt and will weaponize it, broken, insolvent, and hypocritical, who wants to own the treasuries is the bigger question. And that's the problem. So, maybe that's the whole idea here. You weaponize the dollar, you sign an executive order to go green. Your lead economic advisor advocates for losing the reserve status. My mentor, Richard Russell, God rest his soul, he always used to say, this was 20 years ago, the Fed was so far indebted that they only had two choices, to inflate or default. Right. Well, for the last 4 years, I've been talking about finding a villain. And you incentivize all of these countries to push back from the West through the weaponization, through the inflation, through they look at the country and say, what the hell has happened to the United States with all of the things that I just mentioned? And then they are grouping together in a group that already represents a larger swath of global GDP, of human population, 3 of the 4 largest nuclear arsenals on the planet, 100% of all the rare earth metal refining capacity on the planet, 85% of its mining, the majority of all of the hard commodities and softs are mined and or refined and or produced in the Eurasian continent or in these BRICS countries. The majority of the oil production, the majority of the sea routes and land routes in terms of trading, the Straits of Hormuz is covered. All of these things are being put into place. You incentivize this to happen. So all of these countries join together. Now remember, inflate, default, what about find a villain? So you entice Xi Jinping and Putin and all of these countries and OPEC to say, listen, thank you, you guys. It's been great for the 50 years of protection, OPEC says, and Saudi Arabia says. But look, you guys are going green. We really don't align ideologically. And we see that if we don't, you're going to weaponize the treasury and the dollar and take it from us. So thanks for the memories. So we're not going to re-up the exclusive deal like we saw a month ago in August, where Saudi said, listen, we're not going to not take dollars, but we're not going to only take dollars the way it's been for 50 years for oil. So the door has been opened. Now, there's the big meeting in October in Kazan for the BRICS, and maybe they will issue the new unit gold-backed currency. I guess we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe they will. But the point is, what would happen if OPEC said, listen, we're going a different direction, and we're going to take another currency for oil settlement like that? It's over. Where every single country on the planet has had to stockpile dollars in order to accumulate oil for the last 50 years, no longer has the reason to do that. And as countries start to shed dollars fast and dump treasuries, there's a theory out there called Operation Sandman. They call it the night of the switch, where 100 plus countries have already agreed to do just this. So I'm always very fond, Sean, of a term called logarithmic decay. Little by little by little by little by little, then bang all at once, right? So the little by little by little by little is happening. You can see the de-dollarization, the de-treasurization, the accumulation of commodities, the accumulation of groups and allies that are joining together. And what happens if all of a sudden the dollar is no longer desired or wanted to buy oil? We already went through the gold example, and you can see that this is a possibility. If every country dumped dollars, now it's those sons of bitches did it to us. You can point your finger at Xi Jinping and Putin and OPEC. How could they do that to us? And now you have a villain.
Thanks for watching. If you found Andy Schectman's insights eye-opening, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more critical updates on global affairs. Stay informed, because the decisions made today will shape our future tomorrow.